Hi, my name is Michael McCann. I am a former Labour MP and I am the Director of the Israel-Britain Alliance. The IBA has a simple mission. We celebrate the UK's relationship with Israel. We explode the myths and bring clarity to the Israel-Palestinian conflict by speaking truth to power. We are achieving our goals by partnering with advocacy groups across the United Kingdom and coordinating our messaging to ensure that politicians who shape our foreign policy are presented with a comprehensive and unbiased view of the facts on the ground. We also seek to educate the public about what's really going on in the Middle East. All too often, the British public is fed a biased narrative. It's right that we challenge the lies and we show our support for Israel through our actions. That's why, working with our partners and supporters, we take up that challenge directly, contacting politicians and the people who influence public policy, challenging and interrogating decisions and explaining the myriad of complexity that Israel faces as the only democracy in the Middle East. But let me get back to the basics. What are the responses I hear most often about political lobbying? Here are the top three. It doesn't work. MPs don't like organised campaigns and they only want handwritten letters. MPs are very busy people. Let's deal with each of these points. Lobbying doesn't work. I'm going to tell you a story about two peoples, the Jewish people and the Arab people, who lived in what was the British Mandate of Palestine. Both peoples were offered a way to solve their territorial dispute. They were offered a resolution by the British government in 1937 and by the United Nations in 1947. The Jewish people accepted both plans, but the other side refused both offers, not because they didn't want an Arab state, but because they didn't want the Jewish people to have their own state. So, when Israel became a reality, the Arabs decided to try and bully their way to a solution. They started three wars in 1948, 1967, and in 1973. And they were defeated 3 times. The Arabs then rebadged themselves as the Palestinians and they resorted to terrorism. And it's estimated that the total death toll of the wars and the terrorism is around 140,000 human beings. And that excludes those that have lived but suffered horrendous injuries. Any bystander would look at these results and unequivocally condemn the aggressors. The charge sheet against the Arabs who became the Palestinians is long, bloody, and indisputable. They rejected 2 offers of statehood. They started 3 wars. They are responsible for 140,000 deaths. They pay salaries to people who commit crimes, and possibly their biggest crime. They teach their children to hate Jewish children. And yet in 2018, politicians, media outlets, and the utterly detached from reality United Nations ignore the history, ignore the facts, and create fake news about the Israel-Palestinian conflict. If you listen to them, you'd believe that the Arabs weren't offered a state twice. You wouldn't know that they started 3 wars. And you wouldn't know that they started all the violence that has led to tens of thousands of deaths and serious injuries. Donald Trump may have brought the term fake news to prominence and public consciousness. But fake news has been peddled in the Middle East for decades. Well, long before the Russians found Twitter and Facebook. The biggest lie of all is that these people are victims. So, does lobbying work? You bet it does. Because over the decades, the aggressors, the people that lost the war, the people that started the terror campaigns with bombs, hijackings, kidnappings, torture, car rammings and knife attacks, they have been portrayed as the victims. The only victims are those maimed and killed, and of course, the ordinary Palestinians who have been deprived of decent lives and used as cannon fodder by their political leaders. But let me tell you this, lobbying works even better with the truth by your side. And we have the truth in spades. Let me deal with those other points. Handwritten letters. The truth is some MPs would rather avoid dealing with complicated issues, fearful that they'll offend their constituents who don't support their views. That's why some of them make up excuses and caveats to put you off contacting them. Don't be put off. And yes, they are busy people, and they deserve our respect. But they get more than £150,000 a year to employ staff. So please, please, don't worry about their workload. So what do we need to do as supporters of Israel to meet the challenges that we face? The IBA has a 5-point plan to ensure that the truth wins. 1. If you haven't participated in our campaigns before, please go to www.israelbritain.org.uk now and click on Become a Supporter. 2. Whatever organisation you're a part of, join all the campaigns. When it comes to political lobbying, numbers count. 3. Mobilise your friends and family. Friends and family share the same values. By encouraging them to become active campaigners, we will amplify truth to power. Send them to our website or share our campaigns with them. 4. Be prepared to mobilise local campaigns. You know the old saying, 2 heads are better than 1. So if you have a group of friends who share a heart for Israel, get together and discuss ways you can inform others. We can help you. 5. Become an IBA super advocate. Participate in local press campaigns, visit your politicians, and actively lobby for the only democracy in the Middle East. You can contact us at info@israelbritain.org.uk for more information. Every step of the way, the Israel-Britain Alliance will help you express your support for Israel. It's a noble cause. Be proud. I'm Michael McCann from the Israel-Britain Alliance. Thank you for watching.